right. Hosting just jacks, we lift every voice. Re-entry with dignity, give people a choice. Restorative justice, repair what was torn. Conflict resolution, new trust can be born. Family reunification, bring loved ones back. Hosting just jacks, we stay on that track. Husky. Sitting with the hurt and the harm in one room. Let truth breathe easy so grace can bloom. Victim offender mediation, step by step. Teaching how to listen and make a safe rep. From cell blocks to classrooms, from courts to the street. Designing programs where real people meet. Community centers and facilities too. Building bridges that carry us through. 50 states traveled, a map full of skies. Showing how to journey with wide open eyes. Workshops and pages, your wisdom in ink. When the world needs mending, you help it rethink. Host of just jacks, we lift every voice. Re-entry with dignity, give people a choice. Restorative justice, repair what was torn. Conflict resolution, new trust can be born. Family reunification, bring loved ones back. Hosting just jacks, we stay on that track.
Guys, it's December. It's December 1st. It is the first Monday of the month. Guys, we are almost done with 2025, and I don't know about you, but I am ready for some new stuff in the world. I am ready for some new excitement and some new happiness and some new opportunities for so many of us, and we deserve that, you know? It can be tough. This world is tough all the time, but then when it's tough around the whole world, you know, there's so many natural disasters going on. There's so many issues going on right now. Sometimes we just need to sit back and be, giving ourselves some grace, reaching out to those supportive people, getting rid of the toxic people, and really understanding what we need to get through some of this. So guys, it has been a week. It was Thanksgiving in the United States. I know some other people had longer weekends. They have different weather going on. I am in Michigan, if you don't know, and we are getting dumped on with snow. They are predicting up to 18 inches of snow by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So all the schools are closing. I postponed our office opening until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning because it's just like, even if it does stop at 7, I want to make sure those roads are clear for all of us. It's kind of wild for a lot of us. So I'm Eastern time as well, so it gets dark really early. There's just a lot of So we're going to talk tonight about trying to relax ourselves, show us that we've got new opportunities, highlight this amazing guest that I'm going to bring on in a few minutes. If you watched the show last week, it was the amazing Hunter and Christina. They were so great. They talked all about recovery. They talked about their upcoming Hope Junkies podcast. They talked about so many different things. And this Kristen was in those comments, guys. She was there supporting our friends. She was there learning and cheering them on. And now you guys get to do the same for her. So whether you're able to watch live, whether you are going to be watching the replay, you want to get to know her. And some of the things she's going to share in a few minutes are just amazing. If you had a chance, I was actually the guest of Dr. Tanya Farron's Parent to Parent show earlier today. If you didn't, go back to my LinkedIn page. You can go to her LinkedIn page, or you can go to Creative Living Ideas YouTube channel or her Facebook page for her business. We talked in 30 minutes, and guys, you know how much I like to talk, so 30 minutes was super quick, but we covered so much. We talked about family reunification and when families have things that fracture them, especially in terms of kids that are not following the rules, or kids that get a little older and they don't want to converse or be around their families anymore or their parents. So definitely want you to check that episode out. If you're interested or intrigued, but you don't have time to watch the episode, feel free to check my Just Jack's Advising website, because it does talk all about the family services and some of the parent-child work that I do on that. And reach out if you have other questions too. I appreciate you guys. Also, right before this show, then we also had the 2350 network meeting. So my voice has been going nonstop today. Usually I change my shirt in between meetings, but it's been back to back. So you get me in two different videos today with the same clothes on, which is so weird for me. But how are you guys doing? Are you doing okay? Because it's been a lot. Some people had amazing holidays, and other people, it wasn't so great. Some people don't have anything that's going on that's significant one way or the other, but it's always so important to recognize what we got going on. And that means recognizing great people. David Causey, guys, twice now, this week, last week, first one in the comments. Anybody going to try to beat him for next week? Let's see if that can be a challenge. I appreciate you. Oh, Javi, he just has so many ideas about me dancing after posting a video that was like an AI generated Jackie dance, because Jackie don't dance, except I do get kind of into my music. Thank you, Michael LaFrance, because you did my intro and my outro. You don't get to see me dance quite as much at the end of the show, but I still have a little energy, so sometimes that happens. My dear friend Gregory up in Canada, thank you for being here. And of course, he knows that I don't sport a lot, but he likes to talk about his sport. So I definitely appreciate that all the time. Oh my gosh, poor Charles, twice. You got me back to back tonight. Lucky you. Thank you for your support, my friend. I appreciate that. Definitely not on location anywhere, Gregory, but you missed last week. I think you had so much going on. I literally just moved from one wall to the other wall, and I like this much better, but I'm trying to figure out what kind of background I want. So this is the same exact room in my place. It's just my background is different. I switched stuff up before the last show, and I need a little bit different because I just needed a little bit different. Sometimes you need just a little different, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Kenny Dunner, thank you for being here. Always appreciate him. Omar, he is in the house. Omar, I finally got to watch one of your Zoomperty. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but his show was so fun the other day. It was a mom's episode. And when you had on there Betty Rubble, I about lost it. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so wild. Yes, I don't know how it is in Canada, but it's going to be crazy here in Michigan. So if you guys don't know, I'm also right by Lake Michigan. So everybody thinks when I say I'm from Michigan, I'm from Detroit. It's all the way over here, right on Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan is almost like an ocean, guys, except it doesn't have the salt or the sharks, but it causes crazy weather, like crazy weather. There's my guy, Bill Rochelle, guys, you got to put it in your calendar. 4:00 on Sundays. He does some amazing UBU information. He has cool guests. I was one of those one time, and I was on location at that time. Oh, Noni's here. I don't care if there's a typo, Noni. I do that all the time. And then I'm like, there's no way to fix it now. Marcia, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. I know this is kind of late for you, and you do so many cool things. I just love you so much. So thank you for taking your time with us. We don't get we like pretty much never. Gregory was just going to show your comment here. We don't get like national emergency for 18 inches of snow. That's like no big deal down here. However, we do have opportunities for different people to close schools, close businesses, all the police departments and the weather advisory places are asking us not to be on the road unless you absolutely have to go out, of course. So hopefully there's not going to be that much. Hunter's in the house. Kristen, I knew he'd be here to support you. Oh, we're going to have such a great time. If you guys missed Hunter and his wife last week, it is so worth going back and watching the replay. Like, I don't think I fell asleep for like 2.5 hours. And if you guys don't realize it, I like to go to bed early. But I had so much energy after his show. It was just really, really great. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, Charles. Family reunification is not an easy topic for some people to listen to or think about. And I know it's also important to you and something that's so amazing. Our girl Jane from, I was going to say Chicago. If you were in Chicago, I would have seen you in person by now. She's all the way in California. Oh my gosh, so great to see you guys. We have a LinkedIn user. I'm not positive who you are right now, but I'm thinking it could be Damien or it could be somebody else. Chasen's here. Oh my gosh, I could go on and on. There's so many great people here. Look at this. Lexi is here for you, Miss Kristen. Oh, I love this. Right from Arizona for you. It's Lexi Baxley. Kristen got this really cool studio, but she sits kind of far away from her device, so she's not able to read it. So I'm just going to holler out some different people to make sure that she knows that People are here. Get some questions going. You want to ask her questions. She is the guest of the night, so we have plenty of time. Danielle, nice to see you. I appreciate him. Oh my gosh. Christy's in the house. Jason's in the house. I love this. So if you don't know that I stream this to multiple devices, yeah, that's I could handle some 32 right now. Tom, you get me back to back again too. I appreciate you so much being here. So guys, we have this streaming to YouTube, to LinkedIn, and to Facebook. And sometimes StreamYard does not love to show all the comments. So if you put something in here and I don't show it, or I don't have a chance to ask Kristen about it, once we're done with the show, then they will populate for us. And either Kristen or I will go back and answer those. So feel free to start thinking about, what do you want to ask this amazing lady? Because she is pretty cool. We became friends pretty much about 2 weeks ago. We had been connected for a while. I've been like watching her from afar and been like, oh my gosh, she does so many cool things. I got to get to know her. And then boom, we just got connected with a whole bunch of other great people in the reentry community and the lived experience community, the social justice community. And one of our other friends is Valerie, and it is her birthday today. So she was hoping to be able to support the show tonight, but she's just not maybe going to be able to do it. Oh, it's Trip. Trip is a LinkedIn user tonight. I am so glad you outed yourself. So usually it doesn't show your name if you have a setting on to not show outside of LinkedIn. So it would show to anybody that's watching from LinkedIn. It just won't show me because I'm using the app of StreamYard right now. Let me know if you have to know how to switch it back afterwards. I'd be happy to help you. And Tisha's here. Tisha Weir. I don't know if I pronounced your name wrong or totally right. I would be so surprised if I did it right, because I just have this issue with jacking up people's name. But I know that you're here for Kristen, so thank you so much for being here. And our friend Jay is here. Okay, guys, I could go on and I could keep talking. I'm trying to see if I missed anything else I wanted to talk about, other than if you are on YouTube, or if you have never realized I have a YouTube show, will you please take a minute and subscribe to my channel? The more subscriptions that are out there, the more people are going to hear great information, like people like Kristen. And she deserves to be highlighted, guys. Oh, tonight we were supposed to do a holiday takeover with a lot of our friends. We're having to push that back this season, or this month, just because, it's the first of the month. We had a couple things going on for a couple people, so we'll be pushing that back. I can't wait to share the stage with more people, but you guys are not going to be disappointed. Like this lady, the more I talk to her, the more I read her posts, the more I just fall in love with her. And I know you're going to be falling in love with her too. Are you ready to get her on stage? Kristen, are you ready to join me? Are you ready? Look how cute her area is. Look how cute she is.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Kristen. So Kristen, it's her first time on StreamYard, so we're going to be very gentle with her. We're going to let her get used to everything. But you've already got some people in the comments supporting you, some people that I know are here just for you. So they maybe never heard this lady Jackie talk before. They've never heard of Just Jax. They are here for you. And I hope I hope you know just how much impact you make on other humans. And we were talking briefly before you got on stage, or before we went live, just how much your impact has grown and grown. And we're going to get into all the cool stuff about you. But I always ask my guests 3 questions before we jump into that, because sometimes we just need to loosen up a little bit, and we need to make sure people know us as a human, instead of just this kick-ass business person, or this person trying to accomplish this, or all the things that you've done. So my first question, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. We've talked that you've accomplished a lot of things, and you're learning and you're growing and all the good stuff. But what are 2 things that you can reflect back on? Maybe it was something yesterday, maybe a year ago, maybe it was when you were a kid. 2 things that you are proud of that you've accomplished, something about you.
Well, one thing I'm really proud of, and it has been accomplished through my whole family, is I'm really proud of my family, from my mom and dad to my husband to my brother and sister to our kids. We've been had a lot of loss from addiction in my family, and I'm really proud as to how they have grown along with me and the way they support me. They go to community events. I spend my family is very well known in the community that I'm from, and the way they have supported me and grown with me, I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud how we show up as a family in our community. Let me see, one other thing I'm proud of is all my work with the Graham County Substance Abuse Coalition. I have a program called the Sunrise Project that people come to me straight from jail or prison, or I pick them up at rehab. And it's something we built brick by brick that we've just built, and it's been really successful. And I am not sure, I can't really get a corner on it, but it's because of the human connection. Like they say, the opposite of addiction is recovery. I feel like the opposite of addiction is connection. So we support each other through connection. And I have my reentry program in the prison, and my newsletter, The Light, that I started 26 days post release. It went into 50 people. Now it goes into prisons and rehabs all over the United States. And it just became an initiative into the Stafford prisons. It focuses on the holistic approach to reentry and recovery. We do yoga, sound baths, and after the first of the year, I'll go in once a week and we'll focus on the 8 dimensions of wellness. That was a lot. I can talk a lot too, Jackie.
You know, I love that. And I was just thinking, I'm like, when we talked on the phone, you don't talk as much as I do, but I think you are pretty close to as fast as I can talk, and you have so much. And I think that's the coolest thing, is because I don't know about you, but as a female, I tend to get told, slow down, you're talking too fast, take a break. And I'm like, no, you don't know all the stuff I got in here. And sometimes I only have a couple minutes and I want to get it out, because just like you know, when you're excited and positive about the things you're doing, the more you can share it with other people, the more people learn, the more people realize, you know, how many people realize that people that are in prison right now actually can flourish when they learn about yoga, they learn about meditation, they learn about sound baths. I didn't even know what a sound bath was until a couple years ago, you know. And when you think of bringing new things into prisons and jails or recovery houses, it's almost like you just like open this book that doesn't have a start or a stop period to it. And I love that. You can keep talking about anything you're proud of, because you deserve it. You deserve to honor it, and you deserve to be supported by all these people that are putting some comments up here. So I'll get into some of those in a few minutes. But even with all those amazing accomplishments, 26 days after release, woman, that is probably the quickest I've heard.
It was just something that I was really active in recovery, and on your last 5 years, you're on a minimum yard. And my last 2 years I spent on a yard, and I ran all the recovery programs on the yard. Like AA, I taught a class called The Way Out that prepared ladies how to deal with recovery when they got out. And I got really close to some of these girls. I got ready to go to a release program. I'm crying, they're crying. That's women, you know. And they're like, you can't leave. And I'm like, well, I'm leaving you, but I'm going to send you guys this newsletter. So I got all their information. And you're not supposed to have each other's information. So I acted like I was signing them up for a new class just in case. And it was just something I really wanted to make sure that I did what I said for these girls, because so many of these girls have nobody's ever kept their word for them. And I just really wanted to stay connected with them because I love them. They're like my family. Part of me didn't want to leave. I miss them. We're all getting out now, but yeah, so I sent it in. My brother and my sister-in-law helped me format it because I had it all written out and what I wanted to say, but I had been incarcerated and gone for years. I didn't know how to work a computer. It just wasn't like it. Everything was misfiring and I couldn't, and it was so frustrating. So my brother and sister-in-law helped me get it together. And then my now boss from the Graham County Substance Abuse Coalition, the Substance Abuse Coalition took it on and printed it in color. And I just sent it in. And I mean, and within months, it just started catching fire. It's now a whole movement. It's insane.
That is so cool. That is so cool. So usually I don't put like, when I do the titles of the show, it's not usually like an agency or a movement or anything, but what I've already just learned just in a little bit about what the light is, you're right. It is a movement. It's so powerful. And so I don't know if you saw or not, but you know, kind of like how you have your name there. I had put on the show's title, Kristen and the Light, because it's so powerful. But let's get back to you a minute real quick. Okay. Even though you've had all this success, even though you are literally changing people's lives by the work you've done and what it sounds like you did while you were inside as well, each one of us, I don't care how amazing we are, how many degrees we have, how many jobs we've worked, how old we are, how young we are, we all deserve to keep growing and learning and accomplishing things and maybe fighting other demons or something like that. What is some area of your life that you are still working on or growing in right now that you'd be willing to share with us?
One area that I'm really trying to improve on is I'm always on time and I always know when I have things scheduled, but is to make better use of my time. I like to get up really early and exercise. I find myself getting lost in social media early in the morning, and for my mental health, I have to exercise. I also, my Light newsletter, We just kind of, I have two partners in there that write a couple articles for me. And we just kind of like, I'll reach out and be like, hey, will you send me the articles by the 3rd and we'll get it mailed out by the 12th? So then we're kind of like scrambling sometimes. And we just had a meeting. Their names are Blake and Hannah, formerly Intoxicated. Anyways, we just had a meeting and we set a clear intention and we set out, okay, every month on the 15th, we're going to get the articles together. It's going to go to print this day and I'm going to put them in the mail on this day, because then it's just not so like frenetic, we always get it done and it always gets out. But just like last night, my nieces and nephews, my mom and my sister-in-law helped me stuff 300 envelopes. And I had plans on, I really wanted to get out. And so my family helped me, but now I've set this intention and I have like a support network. What do you call it? Accountabilities partners that we're going to get the light out same time. Because when you're incarcerated, you count on things. And when I go back into the prison, I felt so bad because there's a couple of girls for some reason that didn't get their last issue and they were like very disappointed, and I said, you guys just know if that ever happens, because you never know what's going to happen in the mail and DOC. And I want them, they wait for it. Just like my program at Fort Grant, the guys tell me, when something's going wrong or I'm feeling down, I know you guys are going to be there eventually for our program and we look forward to it. So I make sure I'm there. You got to do what you say. These people want to be heard and seen, and it's just they're used to being disappointed. So I try to be not disappointing.
I love you acknowledging that, because you're trying to follow your goals and all your dates and everything like that, but life gets hectic, and so many of us will be like, oh, I can do that tomorrow, or oh, that moved down the priority list. I say that way too much, and I really regret having to say that, but there's crises that come up, and you gotta make sure the lights can stay on before anything else. But you recognizing that those that are inside, their timetable looks a lot different than ours. And being able to know there's some form of a connection out there is so important. And I do this when I do my parenting things, and I do this a lot with people that are struggling with another human, or they're trying to make up with another human. As I always tell people, especially guys that are getting back into their child's life after incarceration, is I say the most important thing to do for your kids is to never promise them anything.
Right.
Because your probation, your parole could be revoked in an instant. So if you say, I am never going back to prison, I will always be here for you, that kid hears that promise, and then boom, something, even if it's out of their control, even if they didn't do anything to reoffend, but the courts decided to do something, even if it's an overnight stay in jail, that changes that trust factor. So you even acknowledging women wanting their newsletter, that is something that's so significant. And so I always try to tell people, this is what we're planning. This is what we're hoping to do. This is what we want to do. But sometimes life gets in the way. And it sounds like you've had some of that. Oh my gosh. So I don't know how much you travel. I don't know if you realize how much I travel, but I've been to all 50 states now. And I don't know if it's 100% my favorite, but anytime somebody asks me where is my favorite state, I constantly say Arizona. I love to go to Arizona. I love the heat. I love we don't have cactus in Michigan. I love that you can just look at mountains full of cactus one minute, and then it's a mountain that's just a rocky thing over here. And then I just love it. Do you travel? And if you could go anywhere in the world right now, it doesn't matter about anything else you have to do, no money, no nothing, where would you go right now?
Well, I travel constantly, but it's all within the state of Arizona. Most weeks I'm in a prison 2 to 3 times a week. So I travel constantly within Arizona. But I was thinking about this today, and I know this is cliche, but I really want to go to Hawaii, and I am going to go there someday. I really want to go to Hawaii. I love the sun. My brother lived there and his kids, and I would see their pictures, and it just looks cool. And my husband is watching this, and I really want to go to Hawaii.
Did you hear that, hubby? Take this woman to, I was going to say, which way am I pointing? That way. Take this woman to Hawaii, because he is earning it.
He will.
I love that so much. So I think one of the coolest things that I'm learning about you is that you just have this drive, this energy that is not self-serving. There are some people in the reentry community, both people that are providers and people that have had lived experience inside, that come out and they want to be the talk of the town and look at me, and I need to be on all these stages and all this. And here you are doing this physical work behind the scenes and going in and out all over the state. You don't have to be doing this. You don't have to be doing this. Well, now it's your job, you have to. But when you first got out, this didn't have to be a thing that you wanted to do. So start talking to us about this. I'm going to make your screen bigger so that people can see your face a little bit better, and just start talking about what is important to you and what is some of the stuff that makes you thrive and makes you continue the light and makes you just kind of light up yourself.
So when I got out, I started volunteering with the Graham County Subsidies Coalition. And then I was picking people up from rehab. I'd been out of prison like 9 days. And immediately when we would pick them up, it's called Recovery Angels. They would be like, "Are you my probation officer?" And I'd be like, "No, dude, I just got out of prison. I'm tripping out." But immediately they would connect to me. And so when the reentry coordinator job came open, I really wanted to do that. And most of it is done by mail. You send in letters, I want to support you. I want to help you set goals. I want to do this. And then I would have people come out, but I started going in and speaking at prisons, and you're right. The human connection is, so I always say this, authenticity connects us, and genuine connection is what helps us heal. The people that will do my program while they are incarcerated, when they come out to the streets, they're the ones that succeed. If you can't take the time to write some goals and work with me while you're in prison, it's not going to carry out onto the street. And believe me, I did get my heart broke a lot. These men and women both. And I had to learn, because we're addicts, we're in recovery. A lot of people, that's all they've known their whole life. And it takes a long time to recover and rewire your brain. And, people go to prison and they get sober and they mistake feeling better for like being better. You can't just go to prison and never do anything but play spades and have this sobriety time and get out. Well, I mean, I'm sure you can, and get out and not have a plan and plan to be successful. So that is one thing. I started going back in and speaking at the second chance graduations, and I had a couple people that poured into me when I was in prison. I'm going to tell you right now, I ran to the phone at 5:00 every single day, my whole sentence, except when I couldn't get on COVID. Every single day, my husband picked up the phone, even when he probably shouldn't have, because I was not always the best wife. I'm telling you that right now. When I would call my sister, if she didn't answer, I would go back in. She would message me. Same with my brother. I'd call my dad, talk to my mom, but I'd call my dad. They would answer. Do you know that that's not the norm in prison? That's not the norm in prison. And so I had a couple other people, a gentleman named Andre Norman, but really members of my family just poured into me, even when I probably was gave me grace when it probably was even unmerited. And, my time was different than a lot of people's, because I would get money on my books. I have no idea what it's like to be in prison with my mom, and there's a lot of that. Or I have no idea what it's like to be in prison and never have any money on your books. Or some of these women have never had anybody be nice to them or kind to them, and it almost trips them out when you are. I went recently onto a medium, well, it's actually closed custody. It's a max yard. And I went in with convicted comebacks, some girls I met in prison. We go in and exercise. And I met girls that are like there for life, natural life, 20 years. And I told them, I'm going to send you this newsletter. And I put my phone number on it and I sent it in. Like a few days later, I got a call, and there was an individual on the phone, and she said, "Kristen, this is Dopey. She's doing 20 years. She gets out in 2040. She was in tears. She said, "I want to thank you so much for doing what you said. Nobody ever does that for me." So yeah, I get back way more than I put into it. Believe me. It's soul pay.
People don't realize the impact we have on other humans. You didn't go there to have your heart filled up by other people thanking you and appreciating you. You started that letter. You started going in because you knew they needed something, you were doing it for them. And I know some of the viewers are probably like, there's no way Kristen's been in prison. I mean, how could she, who would be, she runs a newsletter. She's into they don't let you come back into prison. So I'm just going to pop this up real quick. She wanted me to show you guys this, and she actually posted today, I believe, on LinkedIn, this picture. Like, this is her, guys. There is no face of recovery, of incarceration that looks identical. There is no kind of if you have this kind of a childhood, this is definitely going to be you, or this is not going to be you. Guys, we have to drop the stigma. We are all one decision away. And then when you add the whole addiction area, it's a lot different. how I just want to, I mean, look at that smile on you right there. But what did that have to have felt like being able to pose in front of a prison sign and you are not in a jumpsuit there, darling?
Right. The first time it was really, so the first time I went back into the prison I was in, everybody was like, is it so surreal? Is it so, it was literally like going home for me because the last 2 years I was there, I would stand at that gate. The same officer let me in. She didn't recognize me, but it was really fulfilling. But the girls needed so much information and so much for me. And I knew that day I was going to keep doing it. And now we take pictures in front of that sign. So I say most people collect coffee cups. I collect prison pictures. Every prison I go to, it's just a thing. We take a picture in front of it. And because it does feel good to show up there. The day I got out, my sister-in-law took a video and it shows that sign, and it shows driving by that sign and me coming out the gate. So another thing is it just shows possibility. A lot of my following are formerly incarcerated individuals. A lot of them I've done time with. A lot of them are men that know me from prison. And it just shows possibility. And I'm not saying that you have to go back into prison, but the fact, listen, I'm on intense probation still. And I started rolling into that prison while I was still on parole because I'm bold. I ask for what I want and I figure it out and I get in there. And you can go back in. You have to be bold. My program at Safford Prison, they asked me to come speak at a community celebration and sit in on some classes because I'm from Graham County. That's prisons in Graham County. So during the community celebration, I stepped out for a minute and I made my way back into some offices, like some CO4s and stuff, and sat down, introduced myself, and I'm like, here's what I want to do. Here's what I'm going to do. And guess what? I do that now. I just be crazy and just ask for what I want. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if everybody used their voice to say, I want to do this because I know it's going to make a difference. I know it's important. I know it is powerful. And you did that. So many people that I know after getting out of prison or jail, they want nothing to do with anybody.
Right.
They don't ever want to talk to a correction guard. They don't ever want to talk to the police. They don't want to even connect that world. Sometimes they want to totally be away from it because it brings back the memories. It brings you said how much their family liked you, but some people don't want to be connected to that lifestyle anymore. Even if they're still on parole, they got to check in or anything. They want to have that be a past part of their life. And for you to do it so quickly, being willing to walk right up to those COs and be like, hey, this is what's going to go down. Not every state will let people come back into prison that quickly. And you don't know what your state is going to do unless you ask for it. Like Kristen, I mean, that's amazing.
Well, Arizona really is reimagining corrections. So they changed the name while I was there to Arizona Department of Corrections Reentry and Recovery. And we were like, that's so lame because it wasn't true. But we have a director and just the things that they're doing, they're letting in justice impacted individuals, ex-convicts like myself, because they know what we're doing is working. I'm about to get my badge. My badge is up for signature right now. And so that means I can go in. I have gate passes at like 5 yards in Arizona, but I actually walked up to the director at a drug summit. And when I walked up, he said, oh, I recognize you. You're Kristen Johnson. I was like, because he sees my stuff and now I have in a proposal with them. But to your point about people not wanting to go back in, my best friend, and she's been my best friend forever, she did 26 years and she doesn't even want to go in the parking lot. And that's totally valid. This isn't for everybody. Like, I don't expect everybody that gets out. And I help plenty of people that want nothing to do with it. And believe me, when I first started going back in, I'm really like standoffish about the cops. And the first time my probation officers came knocking at my door, and I was really offended and really like felt like they were treating me like a criminal. Well, I'm on intense probation. I just did a bunch of prison time. So they were just here this morning because I've been a little under the weather. Obviously, you can probably tell I've had a cold. And, now they come in, talk to us, whatever. They only know what they've been shown. So, I had to show them. I mean, I'm a person that's been arrested on 19 different felonies I've been charged with. I haven't been convicted of all of those, but when you look at my rap sheet, it's not, well, it is impressive that somebody can commit that many crimes. It's not, but I mean, it's not like what you see sitting here. People used to tell me before I went to prison, you can't go to prison. There's no way you can go to prison. Girls like you don't go to prison. Guess what? Yes, they do. I come from a very good family. My parents, my husband doesn't drink, or we're all raised very religious and had a great childhood. And, my family has been totally ravaged by addiction, though. My
Mhm.
first husband died running from the cops. My little brother died in a drunk driving accident. My nephew died. He was an Army vet in an accident due to drugs and alcohol. Then my older brother committed suicide and was an alcoholic. And, those things have really affected us. And then here I am after all this, 6 weeks after my brother commits suicide, I'm going to prison. And for my mom and dad to be able to like walk around and still deal with what's going on, their oldest grandson, two of their sons, my sister and my brother-in-law, my nephew was like my child. When he died, I was the last person he was with. For my family to still be able to stand up and be not supportive only of me, but other people that have suffered with addiction. And man, my poor husband, the first time my husband met me, I was in handcuffs. I was in my early 20s, mid 20s. And he said he knew he was going to marry me that day. I'm like, you're nuts. So my poor husband, but and we've had to work on that, and we've had issues, obviously, because I took off. But, we went and spoke somewhere. I went and spoke somewhere, and the guys asked him, why did you wait for her? Why did you stay? And he said, I love her. And he told me, I watched you go crazy right before my very eyes, and I just didn't know what to do about it. And so most people don't have that, though. So
Yeah.
I want to be that for people.
I'm gonna totally reflect here for a minute on a couple
Okay.
things. First of all, if there's any triggers for anybody hearing about suicide, please know there are people out there to support you. 988 in the United States and in Canada. Please reach out or type in assistance for mental health or anything like that, because when we hear these stories that are real life, it impacts us all in a different way. When we hear of addiction and how different people put themselves in a situation where they lost their life, whether it was for overdosing, whether it was because they were driving or they were under the influence, sometimes it just hits us in a way that it's like, it feels like it happened all over again right now, this minute. So if anybody is struggling with hearing our stories here tonight, please know that you're not alone, and there is so much support and love out there. And I know you can reach out to Kristen as well. Having the supportive family that you had, and oh my gosh, I got so many questions for you and your husband. So the fact that, the right people, guys, and this is so important, the right people are meant to be, and we don't always see that right away, and sometimes we do resist them, and sometimes we chase the toxic people or the people that get us that little dopamine rush because we think that's what we want. And to hear that he stuck by you through all of this, that your family not only has been absolutely devastated by tragedy, and to see their beautiful daughter go away to prison and still want to give back and help, because I saw that picture you posted with everybody holding up the envelopes. That was a team family job to get your letters out to everybody. And I'm like, not everybody has that. And we are so privileged when we have support networks and families. However, there are ways to build new support networks. And part of what Kristen is doing this right now. I want to bring up this picture because I think it's super important to show. And I want you to talk about that whole connection you're talking about, the relationship piece of it.
Okay, so I graduated from the Second Chance program. This is really crazy. Exactly 2 years ago, October 5th. And days after, I was able to go back, and one of the females in this picture I was in prison with, and she got out. She's standing right by me, actually. And she came back. And I always take my newsletters in there. But I'm always going to have a connection. I'm always going to have a special place in my heart. And believe me, there are people that are incarcerated that absolutely need to be there. I needed to be there. There's people there that absolutely should never get out. But there is so much trauma involved. You would not believe the amount of women in prison that have been trafficked. And when you think of trafficking, you think of kidnapped, and no, trafficked by their boyfriends, trafficked by their families, trafficked by their brothers, trafficked by pimps on the street. Actually, you said Leslie Baxley is watching. They're doing a big study right now, and I want to get more involved in that. I don't even know what the percentage is, but if people knew the horrific things that the women in prison have been through, that medium max yard I was talking about, there are girls there that are 19 that shot their boyfriend because this is their story. He was beating on them or whatever, doing life in prison. There are girls that were in a car with their boyfriend, with their brother, during a drive-by shooting, and they're doing life. And I'm not saying that they're not responsible, because they are. But one bad choice, one, men was always a huge thing for me. The wrong men. I'm just going to tell you right now. Um, if I would have listened to my parents, which is very hard to do, which for anybody, if I would have listened to my parents, even though I didn't like what they were saying, I never would have gone through some of the things I went through, because the men I wanted to be with, but we don't, as teenagers, we don't listen to our parents.
No.
But every bad decision that I've made, I knew my traumas mostly all been self-inflicted as an adult. I mean, except for these deaths, every 5 to 10 years, I completely burn my life down. It's a mental health thing. It's a impulsivity thing. But finally, I have, hey, 18 months in county jail and 5 flat in prison. If it doesn't wake you up, then you're not going to get woke up. And believe me, there have been periods of time where my family has not talked to me, and they did reach out for a while, but it's like, you don't want to continually talk to somebody that is just going to keep disappointing you. And I worried him too much, and I didn't talk to them. I talked to my husband more than anybody else, and my sister, my brother would try to reach out to me. I would call my dad every time I would get in some kind of hang up, and here he would come dragging me out of some wreck, or same with my husband. And then after about 4 or 5 days, my husband would be like, all right, Kristen, where do you want to go? Because I'd be wanting to drink. And, it absolutely wasn't conducive to my family's life. But the fact that they have been willing to come back around and support me after, I've caused a lot of damage to my family, which we've worked through that. But my brother got up at my older brother's funeral, and he said straight up, he said, I am not going to lose another sibling. I'm not going to. I'm going to support them. My family, my nieces and nephews, some of the ones that were helping last night, they wrote me the whole time I was in prison. My husband brought my grandkids to see me. My niece, Lindsay, her kids, they knew I was in prison. My niece, Courtney, they knew I was in prison. When I got out, my whole family's in the parking lot. But all these little kids are so happy to see me, because I'm crazy. Like, Aunt Kristen brings a party, like, they love me. Because I'm nuts, and I'm fun. And they waited, and
I'm going to interrupt you there, my dear. Nobody is nuts. Crazy is not a thing. We have mental health concerns, and we have a lot of stress. You are brilliantly a wonderful human, and anybody who's struggling with any form of mental illness or mental unwellness, it's okay. It is not a judgment. But I do hear the exciting part of you and how the kids and everybody go to you.
Yeah.
And Kristen, I can't express enough how much people look at older people. They look at their family members. They look at their neighbors. They look at the people that they go to school with, and we get to make decisions. Do we want to be like them, or do we not want to be them? I grew up in a household where, when I was a kid, both of my parents smoked, and the chances of me being a smoker were like, 99%, but I could not handle that. And I ended up becoming allergic to something in nicotine or tobacco or something like that. But I remember that I always said I would never do this. And we have those decisions, and you are making that impact on so many people right now. Your nieces, you're making that impact on the women you go back and talk to. You made that impact while you were inside, even before maybe you even realized everything you were going to do. And that's one thing that so many people don't understand. If there were other women in your same experience, and they're kind of struggling, and they don't really see their worth right now, they don't really realize what impact they have on other people right now, especially in a positive role, what kind of advice would you give them, or what kind of encouragement do you give them?
So the reentry movement in Arizona is real. Like, it's huge. There's so many of us that are getting out of prison and actually thriving, that there's so many people you can reach out to. Even with probation and parole, it's totally different than it used to be. There are resources. And I tell the girls at graduation, I tell the guys too, if you guys don't make it, it's because you didn't ask for help. And I don't mean not make it because certain people have nowhere else to go when they get out, or there is support out there. There's New Freedom. We have 2 sober living homes. There's people like me. There's a ton of people like me. If I can't help you, I know 100 people that can, and that's real. I don't know about in other states, but Arizona, we have a huge reentry movement, and all of us are just as impacted.
That is so cool. So Michigan has gotten a lot better over the years. So it's probably been almost 15 years ago when they started what was called the Michigan Prisoner Reentry Initiative. It was the first time to really use the word reentry in Michigan. Now, I had been doing reentry with youth way before that. We just didn't call it reentry then. It was for when youth were sent away for like an 18-month to 2-year program, and then they came back to the community. We were working with them to try to make sure that their coming back was going to be positive for everybody. And once the prison started doing that, it started opening up so many other doors. And it started realizing that, oh, just being mean to humans that are already locked behind bars is not a way to change and make them successful when they get out of prison. And so we've
Right.
seen a lot of positivity. One of my really good friends, William, he's been on the show before. He actually was a peer coach after he did 21 years in prison. And I'm super excited to share, and I shared this a couple weeks ago, but he ran for public office as a city commissioner in his town, and he was just elected.
That's awesome.
Don't tell me that you can't move yourself forward, because he would have never thought that while he was still inside, would have never thought that the first couple months he was outside. And yet you get to empower people. I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you are a doctor, a lawyer, if you're justice impacted, if you're still in school. Everything you do during the day has an opportunity to ripple out to somebody in a very positive way or a very negative way. And
Yep.
whether or not we receive that, maybe some people do or don't, but it happens. And I want to see you in action so bad. I want to actually follow you into one of those prisons, because the prisons I used to go in to do programming were all male facilities. And there's so many different dynamics between women and male facilities. And I don't think enough awareness is out there on some of the things that women go through in a prison capacity compared to men. It's not that men have it easy. I'm not saying that, guys. What I'm saying is that we have a lot of body issues that men don't have. And men have so much trauma as well when they're incarcerated,
Right.
or prior to their incarceration. But the things you were just sharing, there was a statistic, gosh, it was probably 10, 15 years ago. I don't remember if it was a Michigan statistic or if it was a national statistic, but it said something like 85% or more. I can't remember for sure. I need to look this up. So please don't quote me on this, because I don't want to say I'm giving false advice, but it was astronomical. The amount of women that were in prison because of either a relationship or being involved with a male in some kind of a crime. Like you said, now trafficking is much more common than it used to be, but even just being the getaway driver at someplace they were selling to or someplace they were robbing, having somebody that fought back because they were being abused or they were being mistreated, the numbers are just astronomical. And when you're talking about, not only is the reason that you're incarcerated because of a trauma, you're still trying to adjust to that trauma that happened to you before you even knew you were going to be incarcerated for the situation. So I'm so thankful that you shared that and that you recognize that, because some people are just like, you did the crime, do the time. Just
Right.
make better decisions when you walk out that door.
Well, 85 to 95% of male and women, like I said, I don't know the exact, I think it's closer to 95, have experienced childhood trauma, have experienced abuse. So, and a ton of them have mental health issues. So what we have in our prisons are the most vulnerable members in our society. Well, again, there's people that need to be in prison, but the not the healthcare, but the mental health care in prison isn't stellar. It's just not, and we don't get the help we need. And so those are things, I was just approached by a juvenile probation officer, and he said, is there some kind of program for juveniles coming out? And so that's something I'm really thinking on and working on, doing a sunrise program for juveniles, because I'm telling you, when I take my jail-based program and sit them across from my DOC program, these are first-time offenders, minor drug charges. These are guys who have done sometimes substantial amount of times, and sit them across from each other. I tell them, like, who's the real gangsters here? And do you want to be them? And they tell them. So that's something we're going to work on, is juveniles, because recovery is amazing. Prevention, though, is key. You can't hardly get anybody off of fentanyl. You got to get them before they get on it.
Oh my gosh. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you for saying that. So number one, I did that. I did that juvenile stuff. Reach out to me.
uh-huh.
Let me help you. I will give you some of the stuff that worked and didn't work
Perfect.
for us. Also, great friend of mine, Derek, he works actually for the sheriff's department down there in your area. He does a lot of work in restorative justice with youth. So I will make sure to connect you to. He's usually watching the
Amazing.
show, but I haven't seen his comment yet. So Derek, if you're out there, if you're not, you're probably busy doing a group because they work him pretty intensely.
Yeah,
You two could do some really powerful stuff together with the youth capacity. So I want to connect you
for
guys.
sure.
Um, Hitting on prevention, hitting on, nobody wants to pay for prevention. I was in a meeting today again about these parents are crying for help. I've got a mom, that's just like, I know he's in a gang. Nobody will do anything until he actually hurts somebody or dies. How can I stop him? He just takes off. He's too big. Nobody wants to do prevention. So what about doing awareness? What about
Yeah.
doing in I'm not talking at high schools, guys. I am talking in our elementary schools. We have kids in the elementary level across this entire country that are addicted to drugs and alcohol, that are stealing, that are carrying weapons that could literally kill them or us. We are talking elementary. This is not doom and gloom. This is not trying to scare people. It is reality. And when we say, oh, well, we got to wait until they're in the system, we got to wait until they do something, we have just failed. We have failed as an entire country because our kids are screaming for help. And when they have no other choice and those drugs are looking at them, why wouldn't they go there? Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, so I have to shout out my prevention team, our prevention team at the Substance Abuse Coalition. My boss started the coalition. She's been doing this for 30 years, but
Oh,
she goes into the schools, grade schools in the area, gives presentations on vaping, on marijuana, on drugs. And we have a couple girls that do mentoring. Here's the problem. When you're trying to mentor a 14, 15-year-old that's been in trouble, there's teenage angst. It's hard to even,
yes.
but we do all kinds of activities in the community, and um, prevention is key. I mean, I'm all about recovery, but we do have a really strong prevention team here in our community that goes into schools. And I have to say that our community allowing that to go on, a lot of communities don't want to acknowledge that
No,
it could even be a problem.
no.
But here, I do have to shout out my whole community. Um, the judge that sentenced me, the sheriff that's raided my house 4 times, the jailers. They started a program with me 9 months post release because they believed I was a person to reach these people. And I'm cutting this ribbon at the reentry center, feeling so weird because I'm next to the judge, and then there's a sheriff, and there's the jailer. And I'm like, when they handed me the scissors, I was like, I can't even have these. I'm on intense probation. I didn't say that, but I was just like, who's cutting the ribbon? They're like, you. And I'm like, whoa, this is wild. It was so emotional for me too, because I was
Oh,
like, is this even happening? And it happened.
you deserve it. I mean, every single human deserves greatness. And
For
when we've
sure.
been around people that have brought us down and they've attacked us and they made us feel all these feelings, or we started, attacking our own thoughts and our mental wellness and our self-confidence and self-esteem, we start thinking we're not as deserving. And I love that they lifted you up, Kristen. They supported you through this. They saw your potential, maybe even a little bit before you really realized the significance of what you were going to do. We are getting so close to our hour.
Okay.
How did that go so fast? How?
Because I talk so fast.
Yeah, but it's great. And I had told you before the show, you don't have to get into all your personal stuff. And look at you go. Look at you go.
It's fun.
Look at her, guys. Look at her. Tell us about this picture, will you?
So after I went to the community celebration the first time at Fort Grant, and I took them some books, and I just talked to them, and I was very, authentic and honest with them. And they sent me this in the mail, and it's just a certificate of appreciation for seeing them, and for showing up for them out there. This rural prison, Fort Grant,
Okay.
in rural prisons, we don't get as much programs and stuff. So that's one thing. Yeah, they sent this to me. So I was really proud of that. A little piece of paper.
That little piece of paper had people's love behind it,
Yeah.
and that is so cool. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if it was like you passed a certificate class or something, to hear that came from people that were thanking you.
Mhm.
That's pretty
It ha-
badass.
it hangs by my behavioral health technician, by my forensic recovery. It hangs by those because it's that important to me.
Love that so
Me too.
much. So you're going to have to go back and check these comments. So many
I
people
will.
have been appreciating you and thanking you. Um, you have great storytelling as well. Even though this has been a lot of trauma, we've talked about your personal and other people that have experienced it. You have the drive, you have the passion, you have the voice we want to listen to. And please know you're not doing this on your own. Don't exhaust yourself, because you got to take care of you too, my dear, because we want you around for a long time.
Yeah.
But you are a voice that can give voice to other people, and then they can start using their voice, because not one of us realizes the absolute potential we have
Right. And
to do good stuff.
yeah, and I am available. I am available on LinkedIn, and I do my best to answer everybody. And I can't help everybody with what they ask, but I try to give them away. I am available. That is one thing about me, is I do keep my word. And if I'm able to, I will do my very best to get you help or to send you somebody that can, because I know a lot of people.
I love that so much. Like,
Mhm.
so much. You are spectacular.
Thank you.
I knew you were cool. I mean, seeing some of your pictures over the past months and stuff, I'm just like, I gotta talk with her. I gotta talk with her. And then all of a sudden we got connected. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is that same girl. And holy crap, she started doing this quick after release. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And I just want to read this comment to you real quick before we wrap up. And this is from our dear friend Hunter. He said,
Hi, Hunter.
9 months post release is unheard of. Yes, it is totally unheard of. She is a rock star. And he also said that that just goes to show how much faith they had in you. And I want you to remember that, because
Yes. And
we
shout out to Hunter. I was on their podcast recently. I love Hunter and Christina. They're awesome. And I got to watch the show last week as well.
yay. We saw your comments. So, I think one of the wild things is so many people give police, correction guards, judges, prosecutors, all of the above. They are the bad guy. They are the evil ones. They are the ones to get you. We don't always think about what impact we did to make them have those kind of
Right.
positions, and to get that
Right.
way, and to be scared and nervous and needing to protect the community. Now, just like you said, some people deserve to be in prison. There are some people in those positions we just talked about that should not be in those positions, because
Right.
they are burnout, they are doing it for the wrong reasons, or they are past
Right.
their time and can't see the bigger picture. But you thanked that sheriff that came to your house. You've talked about that. That is the bridge, and that's the connection, because we don't just need connection with other people that are inside. We need to be connecting with the people that are the lock and key, the people that are sentencing, the people that are
Yeah.
running the grocery stores that are getting robbed. We need the people that are out there thinking it's okay to sell drugs to other people. We need them
Yeah.
to realize the impact they are having and how this is going forward. You are just rock star in my view. I want to support
you.
you in any way I can. I am so thankful that you had the time to come on here, and that you were willing to share so much. So
Yeah.
please reach out. Let me know if I can help you in any capacity. Okay.
I will. And I'm going to get to those. I will get to those comments tomorrow. I'm working from home. I'm a little under the weather, but I will get to the comments and respond to everybody.
You are so cool. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll see you
Thanks,
soon.
Jackie.
Bye.
Yeah. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Wasn't she amazing? Seriously, I never know what people are going to want to share on this show. Every single story, every single individual is so important, and I learned so much from everybody. But everybody's different. So many of you know that I used to do a show that was Voices in Reentry. So it was all people that worked in the field, people that had lived experience, people that just got out of prison, people that had been out for 20 or 30 years, and really trying to highlight everybody to make sure that they had a voice, and that people that didn't know somebody today that was incarcerated, or maybe they never saw that, learned about what it was like for people when they are incarcerated and when they get out. And people like Kristen, that is walking the walk and sharing her story, it just fills me up. However, this show isn't just about that. So if you are somebody that wants to get your story out, you want people to learn about you, maybe your business, maybe about finding a job for you, maybe talking about something that you are really proud of, or something that you took and you want people to learn from you, or so they don't have to experience what you had. Those are the kind of stories that make a difference in this world, guys. You make a difference in this world. Please, if you want to be a guest on one of my shows, I am booking into 2026 now. The rest of December is booked. please reach out because you are important, you are valued, you make a difference even if you don't realize it. Guys, so many amazing people in the comments. A lot of people came in after I stopped thinking or welcoming people. I apologize that I didn't shout out some of your names, but believe me, you are seen, you are heard. You are going to see me and Kristen writing back to some of your comments. Please let us know if you have questions. And if you are struggling with addiction, if you're struggling with mental illness, if you're struggling with so many other things, please know there are so many places that want to help you, so many powerful groups that just want to wrap around you and let you know that you are not alone, okay? You guys take care. I'm going to play the awesome outro from Mike, who is not in the comments tonight. So he must be really busy or under the weather or something because this is not like him. So I miss him. I miss all of you guys. I appreciate you guys. I try to lift you up too because you never know when I'm going to need your help. You never know when you're going to need my help. And together we can do some cool stuff. So thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day, week, and December. But I will see you back next week. Okay. Bye, guys.
Let's go. Hosting just jacks, we lift every voice. Re-entry with dignity, give people a choice. Restorative justice, repair what was torn. Conflict resolution, new trust can be born. Family unification, bring loved ones back. Hosting just jacks, we stay on that track. Every story matters, every heart has worth. Together we're building a bridge to rebirth. From broken to whole, from lost to found. Hosting just jacks, we stand on solid ground. Communities healing, one connection at a time.